Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
Do you mind please stating your name for the record?
My name is Suyapa Hubbard.
And what is your current occupation?
I am a deputy sheriff.
And how long have you been a deputy sheriff?
I have been a deputy sheriff for 16 years.
So, what is your current assignment with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office?
I am assigned to the Homicide Bureau as a homicide detective.
And how long have you been a homicide detective?
5 years.
Now, within those 5 years, do you receive any type of specialized training or have to do any training?
Yes.
What exactly is it?
Well, it's learning how to investigate homicides. There's different aspects of deaths and how to identify and collect evidence and how to do that properly.
So, were you working as a homicide detective on June 24th and 25th of 2022?
Yes.
And how exactly did you first get involved here in this case with Ms. Link?
So we work as a team concept, and my team was on call. I received a phone call that a homicide had taken place, and I was requested to respond and assist with the investigation.
So you just said you work as a team.
Yes.
What do you mean? How do homicide detectives work as a team? What do you guys do?
How it's organized, there's a sergeant assigned, and then you have a team of either 3, 4, or 5 detectives that work together each investigation.
Now, are you guys given specific roles, or are you all the lead in this?
No. Typically, the sergeant will assign a detective within that team as the lead. So the lead then will assign the other detectives different tasks.
Okay. Did you respond to 1237 Northwest 14th Street in Homestead, Florida?
I did, yes.
Now, that's in Homestead, and you said you're with the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office. How do you get called out to Homestead?
Because there's certain jurisdictions within Miami-Dade County that do not have a homicide team. Therefore, there's an agreement between the Sheriff's Office and those municipalities, and so we go in and we investigate homicides that happen within those jurisdictions.
Now, this address that you responded to, is that in Miami-Dade County?
Yes.
Okay. So, around what time did you arrive to the scene?
I arrived at the scene at 6:18 in the morning on Saturday.
And when you arrived, was the victim already determined to be deceased?
Yes.
Okay. So when you first get to the scene, who do you speak with first?
Well, I made contact with my sergeant, Jason Wade.
What exactly did you learn from your conversation with your sergeant?
My sergeant then indicated that Detective Joseph Cruz was going to be assigned as the lead detective for this case.
Okay. Did you ever speak with Detective Cruz?
Yes.
And did he give you any specific tasks or assignments?
Yes. Detective Cruz requested that I document and work with crime scene, with the scene portion of the scene of the investigation, and also to document the body.
Okay. So you said your task is to document, but what specifically are you documenting?
I'm documenting the scene, so taking note of everything specifically of evidentiary value within that scene, and to determine how big that scene is, and just note everything that's in there.
So in order to document the scene, do you ever have to do a walkthrough of the entire area, or?
Yes, so preliminarily, once the crime scene detectives arrive, we're gonna work together to make sure that we don't miss anything. And we at first do a walkthrough through the scene.
And what did you learn from your walkthrough?
Well, that there was blood throughout quite an extensive scene, which started on the west side of the duplex. So the duplex that we were responding to is 1237. Just To the north of that, attached to that structure, is another duplex, which is 1255. There was a large tree just west of that entrance to 1255, and that tree had blood on the exposed roots. So once I see that, that's my starting point for where I see blood. Then following the trail, I follow that trail towards the southern part in between that structure of duplexes and another structure of duplexes that are just west of the 1237 and 1255. There was a large concrete pad. In that concrete pad, there's 3 sets of droplets, and they are traveling west and south. From that pad, there's also a concrete walkway that exits out to the southern part of those other set of duplexes on the west side. There was vehicles there. I followed the blood trail through those vehicles. There was 3 vehicles parked from east to west. There was a white pickup, there was a gray SUV, and then there's a green pickup. In between the gray SUV and the green pickup, there was blood. Specifically, I saw a lot of blood on that passenger door of the green pickup and on like the step up, on a step that's on the outside of that pickup truck. The blood trail then follows west into a grassy area. That grassy area is on the west side of the west structure of duplexes. I follow that blood trail towards an alleyway that's on the north side. There's a vehicle right before you enter the alleyway. That vehicle also had blood. I follow the trail then now into the alleyway, and just west of the trail, I observed the victim's body covered with a yellow tarp.
Now, I'm now showing defense what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 1C. It is. I have State's Exhibit 3 here, as well as C. Do you recognize this image and the second image?
Yes.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of the property that you were just describing?
Yes.
Your Honor, statement was to introduce what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 1C into evidence.
No objection.
State Exhibit 1C, marked for identification, now becomes State Exhibit 6.
And Your Honor, permission for the detective to stand?
Yes. Just like with the other witness, as high as possible, so both sides of the jury can see.
Yes, Your Honor.
Remember, what's been introduced in evidence will go back in with you into the witness.
Now, detective, where exactly did you start following this blood trail? If you could just mark it for the jury.
Okay. There's this large tree here, and then these are the duplexes that I was referring to. So I started the blood trail. I noticed I started here at the roots of this tree.
Yeah.
What would you like me to do?
You can mark up the circle. And then where did you finish following the blood trail to?
Through here, the vehicles that I was telling you. So there's this concrete pad here. We go through here. This is that green pickup where I saw a lot of the blood. Then the trail goes on this grassy area along the west side. following this other vehicle where I told you I saw blood, and then this is the entrance to the alleyway. So following this, all the way to under these trees here, that's where the body was.
Thank you. So, when you said you arrived to where the body was located, you saw that it was covered in a yellow blanket.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it's to preserve the evidence and preserve the body and to give respect to that deceased person as well.
Can you tell us a little bit about the body?
Yes. The victim's body was supine on the ground, and there was a gunshot wound to the right thigh,
What do you mean by supine?
face up. He was laying face up.
Now, the gunshot wound was left or right thigh?
Right.
Do you have to, as you had said, you're documenting the scene and the body, so what does that mean? What are you doing with the body then?
I have to examine the body, touch the body, take the clothing so it can be documented. If we see any defects on it, that gets also documented along with crime scene. So they'll be taking photographs of everything that I'm showing them. So also of the wounds, we document the wounds with a photograph, and I also take notes and document it for my report.
Okay. What was the victim wearing then when you were observing the body?
So the victim had on a gray tank top, black shorts, black underwear, black socks, and black shoes with a white sole.
Can you describe the condition of the clothes?
The clothing was blood soiled, and like the shorts had, hole where the gunshot wound went through, and it was wet and soiled.
So after you document this and make all your observations, what's the next step in your investigation?
After that, I coordinate with the medical examiners, and they're going to take the body to the medical examiner's department for a autopsy. And after that, I assist with whatever else is next to do in the scene or with the case. In this case, I interviewed an individual by the name of Joel Gramajo Perez.
Okay. And who was Joel Gramajo Perez?
A neighbor.
Now, after you speak with this neighbor, do you document this conversation?
I did, yes.
And where does that lead you to next?
So after I conclude that interview with him, I assisted with a search warrant and a search by K-9 Detective Victor Gill.
Okay. So let's break that up. We have two separate things there. You're executing a search warrant. What are you doing? What are you looking for? What's the goal of that?
The search warrant was of the 1237 Northwest 14th Street. And the goal of that is to collect more evidence, see what else we can find in there that can help us piece together the events that took place and that led to the victim's death.
Did you locate anything inside the home then, you and your fellow officers?
Yes.
What did you discover?
There was a Ring camera that was collected.
Now, after all those observations and executing the warrant, you had mentioned that there's a K-9 unit as well too.
Yes.
Did you call that K-9 unit, or were they just helping you on the scene?
I don't recall if it was myself personally that called them, but they do get called out to all of our homicide investigations, especially those that involve guns shootings. They have a dog that is trained to detect ballistic evidence. So whether it's a gun, a bullet, a spent casing, that's what they do. They're pretty good.
Okay. But you're not the one that's handling the canine, you're just observing?
Correct. I happen to be on scene, but that is something that is completely done by the canine detective and his canine.
Okay. If they locate anything, do they inform you?
Yes,
Did they locate anything?
they did. So Detective Bill told me that the dog hit on.
It's the same.
Without,
He's gonna ask another question.
without telling us the contents, did you see him locate anything?
Yes, a gun was located inside an areca palm in front of or west of 1237.
Okay. Was it on someone else's property?
No,
Okay, that palm tree was then on whose property then?
it's just west of the front door of 1237 Northwest 14th Street.
Now, after you accompanied the detective that located that, what did you do next?
Okay, so once we have a gun, it gets documented with crime scene, like everything else that we document together. So it's photographed and then it gets impounded so that it can get further testing on it. After that, I made notification to the victim's family.
And is that something that you have to do as part of every homicide investigation?
Yes,
And who did you notify?
I spoke to the victim's father.
Now, did you do anything else on Saturday, June 25th, 2022?
No,
When's the next time that you get back involved with this investigation again then?
the very next morning, I returned back to the scene.
Now, what do you do when you're back on the scene?
Well, I requested for another canine detective to respond to conduct a secondary search for ballistic evidence.
Why is it important then to do a secondary search then?
So as the investigation evolves, we learn more information. In this case, we learned the defendant said that the shooting took place on the east side of 1237 Northwest 14th Street, which would be the rear side of that duplex. Therefore, we need to go and look for evidentiary, anything of evidentiary value at that point, more specifically, casing or anything of ballistic value.
Okay. Is this the same canine unit from the day before, or is this a new canine unit?
No, this is a different canine unit.
So, did that canine unit locate anything? Because I know you had mentioned the first one had found a firearm, but did this unit find anything?
No, that their search yielded negative results. There was nothing else found.
Did any of the canine units find any type of shell casing of a bullet?
No.
So after this secondary search with another canine unit, where do you go next?
Well, I had right before we call them, they have to come out. So there was a gap of time. I went and accompanied one of my team members, Detective Morales, to go view a surveillance camera that we had found.
What did you see in that footage?
In that footage, at 3:13 in the morning, the victim is observed on the alleyway. Shortly after that, the defendant's vehicle is observed driving from west to east on the alleyway. Then at 3:21, that vehicle approaches from the west towards the east, and the victim's body is laying on the ground. The defendant exits the vehicle, runs towards where the victim is, goes back to the vehicle, and then returns back to where the victim is and starts tending to the victim.
And you saw that video footage firsthand?
Yes, I did.
So, after you review that footage, is it your job then to collect that video footage?
No,
Okay. Someone else's job then.
correct.
So, where does your investigation then go next?
Then after that I saw the video, then I went and made contact with the other canine detective. After I do that, I went back to try to make contact with the victim's mother.
And did anything else happen on Sunday, June 26th of 2022?
No,
Was that the end of your investigation?
no. I continued to look for leads. I did an area canvas, basically go door to door to talk to all the neighbors. I also went back to talk to the victim's family. There was an individual, and all we had was that his name was Kevin. But we wanted to interview him because I learned that the victim had spent some time with Kevin right before he got killed. So I wanted to know the specifics of that. And I also knew that there was a woman that went to look for the victim, and then the victim left, and that was the last time that Kevin saw the victim alive.
So you didn't know Kevin's last name at first, correct?
I did not.
Did you eventually find it out?
Yes,
And what was his full name then?
Kevin Bonilla.
Okay. So overall, did you do anything else in this investigation?
No.
So then, one last time, what exactly was your role then in this homicide investigation?
To document and process the scene and the body. I also interviewed a neighbor. I then talked to the victim's family, and I also conducted an area canvass of all of the houses within the area so that I can speak to anyone, and basically just looking for any witnesses that can help us piece this together.
Your Honor, a moment to confer. Your Honor, the state has no further questions at this time.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
So, I think your testimony was that Joseph Cruz was the lead detective in this case, correct?
Correct.
Were you working under him, or were you his co-lead? I mean, what was your role more specifically in this case?
As I stated before, he was a lead, yes, and he tasked me with the scene and the body portion of the case.
Okay. Other than the specific task that you yourself performed, or as one of the detectives, you're privy to the rest of the information in this investigation, correct?
Yes,
Now, Detective Cruz at some point interviewed Miss Link, correct?
yes,
Were you present for that interview?
I was not.
You were not. Can you tell us whether or not any of Mr. Jimenez's belongings, clothes, personal effects, things of that nature, whether there were any of such items in that home on that night.
I don't recall. You would have to ask the detective that took the lead on that search. I was just merely assisting.
And I intend to, but as somebody who's privy to all the details of the investigation, as you sit here right now, are you saying that you're not able to tell us whether or not Pedro Jimenez had any belongings in this home, which the state has claimed was his home at that time?
No, I cannot answer that. I was not tasked with that documentation.
Thank you. No further questions.
You said that. I'm sorry, in New York?
Yes, Your Honor. So, Detective, you're not the one that's personally executing the search warrant, correct?
Correct.
There are other officers that have that role?
That's correct.
Okay. And your main job was to document just the items associated with the actual homicide, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, just because you don't remember what was found inside the home doesn't mean stuff was found inside the home, correct?
Correct. That's why we work as a team, because it's a lot of information and we want to capture everything and be extremely detailed. So that's why we have to divide the tasks to make sure that everything is done correctly.
And that was not your task, correct, to search inside the home and document that?
That's correct.
Your Honor, stated no further questions.
Yeah, thank you. And she now stepped down, right? Yeah, she now stepped down.
Thank you, Your Honor.